Hello, welcome back to the day 22 of Advent of Cyber. Let's dive into the storyline and see what's happening in the city of Verville and where can we play our role into saving the Sockmas event. Let's dive into the story. In the story, the best festive company is very wary since the last series of attacks by the underlinings of King Malhare. They are on full alert for anything happening, but they are getting restless. It is too quiet. Sir Elfoff, the best festive company, takes the initiative and proposes to hunt for command and control traffic using the meticulously collected network traffic. A majority of the best festive company elves object. We don't have the time to go through so much network traffic. Sir Elf chuckles. Don't fret, for I have a powerful tool to assist us. I present you RIT or RITA, Real Intelligence Threat Analysis. We just need to convert our PCAP files to Zeek logs, and RITA will do the rest. Rita, I guess that's the right pronunciation. Rita will do the rest. Anyone can do it. Just follow today's task. Okay, let's get into the learning objectives of today. It is to convert a PCAP to Zeek logs, use Rita to analyze Zeek logs, analyze the output of Rita. So we have two machines to do. One is the VM, and we have a split screen. So it's just the one machine. And let's click on check. There we get our split screen. Then let's move to the next task here. Okay, let's close all these things of TryHackMe's page and getting into the reading section, the magic of Rita. Real Intelligence Threat Analysis is an open source framework created by Active Countermeasures. Its core functionality is to detect the command and control communication by analyzing network traffic captures and logs. Its primary features are C2 beacon detection, DNS tunneling detection, long connection detection, data exfiltration detection, checking threat intel feeds, score connection by severity, show the number of hosts communicating with a specific external IP, shows the date time when the external host was first seen on the network. The magic behind Rita is its analytics. It correlates several captured fields, including IP address, ports, timestamps, and connection duration, among others. Based on normalized data correlated datasets, Rita runs several analysis modules collecting information like periodic connection intervals, excessive number of DNS queries, a long FQDN, fully qualified domain names, and then random subdomains, volume of data over time over HTTPS, DNS or non standard ports, self signed or short lived certificates, known malicious IPs by cross referencing with public threat intel feeds or block list. Rita only accepts network traffic input as Zeek logs. Zeek is an open source network security monitoring NSM tool. Zeek is not a firewall or IPS or IDS. IPS is intrusion protection system and IDS is intrusion detection system. So Zeek is not firewall or those two things. It does not use signature or specific rule to take an action. It simply observes network traffic via the configured span ports used to copy traffic from one port to another for monitoring. Physical network taps or imported packets captures in PCAP format. Zeek then analyzes and converts this input into a structured, enriched output. This output can be used in incident detection and responses, as well as threat hunting. Out of the box, Z converts two of the four NSM data, transaction data, summarized records of application layer transactions, and extracted contents data, which is files or artifacts extracted, such as executables. PCAP, I convert Yeek to Zeek logs. Let's get started. A neat feature of Zeek is that it can convert packet captures, PCAPs, into structured logs. Now, if you're wondering what is a PCAP, PCAP is a file which you can save once you have analyzed the network traffic of your network. Let's say you are capturing all the network logs which is going on in your internet using Wireshark or some other tools like that. You can generate a network traffic file that is called as PCAP. So that's what they are referring here. So we are now converting the PCAP to the Zeek logs. And that is what is also shown in this example. Let's continue reading and go through it. If you haven't yet done so, open the VM and start a terminal. Navigate to the home directory of the logged in user and list its content. As shown in the terminal below, we can see two directories named pcap and zclocks. Let's do that here. And now let's open the terminal here. Let's see what contents we have. We have pcaps and zclocks there. We can go inside that folder. The pcaps directory contains example pcap of real life incident collected from Bradley Deccan's blog. So let's open this blog and see what we have. This is malwaretrafficanalysis.net, and I guess they have taken it from one of these blogs for the malware analysis. Let me save this as a bookmark. Someday I can use that. He has a wonderful collection of malware related PCAPs that cover real world threats. The zclog directories contain zclogs. These were created by passing pcap file. Let's pass a pcap ourselves and look at the output zclog. We will use zeek readcap pcap file output directory command. Okay, before we do that, let's come here to the terminal and move to the pcaps folder and see what we have. So we have four pcap files. One is Rita challenge pcabot.pcap, then ice id.pcap, and async rad.pcap. So these are network captures of the real life incident, it seems. So okay, let's keep it there. Then let's go to the zeek logs and see what we have. One big zip file here. I'm not able to read it. What is the first letter? Then it's something like amples. I guess it's some date, and okay, it's related to something. Cobalt rated pcap file. And we have again arson cat and pcabot directories there. We can just go and see what is in it. And these are maybe the logs, the zeek logs that the pcap file might have generated. Okay, let's go back. And now let's follow this command to convert our pcap files to a zeek log output. So let's just run the same command here. It is zeek read pcap, and I hope that is right. Yep, and then pcaps. Here they're telling us to run the arson rat.pcap file, and the output directory is zeek logs and then asyncrat. Okay, we already have this one here. I hope that doesn't overwrite or that should not cause an issue, but let's do it anyway. Okay, so I guess that has started. Let's examine the logs created. Navigate to the home zclog, arson cat, and list its contents. The output should be similar to the one shown on the terminal below. So yep, let's do that. Let's go here to zclogs, then async, and here we have the basically the files that we have collected. Okay, that's good. Now, in the terminal above, we can see the different zclocks that were generated. Yes, we can know it says known services, ocsp.log, software, weird, con, and DNS log, known host log. Yeah, there are different files in it. For using Rita, we don't really need to know what is in these logs, although the names are quite self descriptive. However, if you are interested, you can use the cat to examine their contents. You can find more info at the URL here. Let's copy the URL and open it in the new tab. Let's keep it there. Now let's continue here. Let's do some cat of DNS log and see what we get it. The font is a little bad, but zooming out, we can see some structure of the file there. So I guess this talks about the code, then our code name AATC. Okay, it has quite a bit of information, but again, it's not clear. I guess this is the port which is being used. Then this is the host IP or the IP from where it is coming. Okay, I guess this is the IP from where it is coming. This is the IP of the DNS server, probably, and this is the port from which it is requesting. So yeah, we get some information there, but this is not clear as we don't know what each parameters or each columns are about. Okay, let's get into now analyze this Rita. Now that we have prepared the Zeek logs, we can import them into Rita and unleash its analytics. Enter the command above to import the Zeek logs and let Rita do its work. Once you enter the command, Rita will pass and analyze the important logs. As seen in the terminal, a lot of output is produced. The terminal output was redacted in the example below to keep it tidy. Okay, so what is the command? I guess we need to make the screen half so that we can fully see the command. And it says Rita import logs, and then we are giving the directory of the log where we can find it. And database, we are creating one. Okay, let's do that. Here, let's run the command Rita import hyphen logs logs. Uh, then the directory, we are already in the directory, so we don't need to give that. We'll just give dot, then hyphen database a syncrat. I guess this should do it. Hopefully it takes in dot, meaning that's the current directory. Then yep, I see it to be doing some work. So okay. Now that Rita has parsed and analyzed our data, we can view the results by entering the command Rita view, then the database name. Now enter the command below. Note it is important to consider the data set size. Larger data sets will provide more insights than smaller ones. Smaller data sets are also more prone to false positive entries. The one we are using is rather small, but it contains sufficient data for the initial usable results. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete its parsing and analysis. So let's take a small break and come once this finishes. Okay, so now it says it's completed. Let's clear the screen and run the command Rita view ASYNCRAT. Let's press on enter. That should open Rita here for us. Here it says after entering the command, we can see a structured terminal window with the results as shown in the image below. So we should get something like this. And yes, we have a terminal like this. We can probably search here, and we can see the host and some data is present on the screen. Let's continue reading and what each of them mean. The terminal window shows three elements: the search bar, the result panel, and the detail panel. The search bar. To search, we need to enter the forward slash. We can then enter our search term and narrow down the results. These search utilities support the use of search fields. When we enter question while in search mode, we can see an overview of the search field alongside some examples. In the image below shows the help for the search utility. To exit the help page, enter question again and enter escape key to exit the search functionality. Okay, then comes the result panel. The result panel includes the information to each entry that can quickly help us recognize the potential threat. The following columns are included: severity, a score calculated based on the result of the threat modifier discussed below. Then source and destination, IP and fully qualified domain. Beacon likelihood, for example, if there's a beacon is nothing but let's say a computer is compromised, it's going to be connecting back to its C2 server or some external site where it is going to get the information about what can be done next. So to repeatedly check if that's online or repeatedly check when is it going to come online to do what its next step is. So these kind of beacons are installed on those computers where on a repeated intervals it's going to be sending a request to its external site or something. It's usually used for confirming that the compromised system is active and it's ready for the next stage or anything like that. So it depends on what type of beacon the attacker wants to use. So that information can be identified if it is present in the network. It's basically going to be doing a repeated or at some regular interval, it's going to be sending some messages. So we can figure it out with that also. Duration of the connection. Long connections can be indicators of compromise. Most application layer protocols are stateless and close the connection quickly after exchange of data. Exceptions are SH and RDP and VNC. So whenever you have a communication, let's say even a web browser, you instantly finish after sharing the data. It just stops talking to each other. But in other cases like RDP and SSH, it's a connectivity that you want to have to your system. SSH is used for shell connection to your system. So it is going to be a longer duration. But in any other cases, if there is a longer duration of communication that is happening from the compromised system or the suspected machine to any other external source, that's usually some kind of indicator of compromise where you can understand that, okay, this computer is taking a while for processing a simple web or a DNS request. So that's one case of indicator of compromise. Subdomains, connections to subdomains with the same domain name. If there are many subdomains, it could indicate the use of C2 beacon or other techniques for data exfiltration. Okay, next going to threat intel, list any match of the threat intel feeds. We can see two interesting findings. Fully qualified domain name pointing to sunshine bizrate inc software dot trycloudflare.com and an IP address 19.134.150.150. Move the keyboard arrow to select the first entry. You should then see the detailed information in the right panel. Okay, so we are first seeing the fully qualified domain and we can see the source IP address, then the destination of where it wants to go. Then comes the threat modifiers. It says prevalence. Okay, then the first scene is 1 minute ago. Res signature, so it is also captured as signature. Moving to the next one, it's an IP address talking to 19.134.150.150, and this also gives some information here. Okay, so let's get back here. The detailed panel. Apart from the source and destination, we have two information categories: threat modifiers and connection info. Let's have a closer look at these categories. Threat modifiers. These are criteria to determine the severity and likelihood of a potential threat. The following modifiers are available: MIME type or URI mismatch. Flags connections where MIME type reported in the HTTP headers doesn't match the URI. This can indicate an attacker is trying to trick the browser for or a security tool. Rare signatures points to unusual patterns that attackers might look over, such as unique user agent string that is not seen in any other connections on the network. Prevalence analyze the number of internal hosts communicating with a specific external host. A low percentage of internal hosts communicating with an external one can be suspicious. First seen checks the date an external host was first observed on the network. A new host on the network is more likely to be a potential threat. Missing host header identifies HTTP connections that are missing the host header, which is often an oversight by attackers or a sign of misconfigured system. Large amount of outgoing data flags connections that sends a very large amount of data out of the network. No direct connections flags connections that don't have any direct connections, which can be sign of more complex or hidden command and control communication. Connection info. Here we can find connections, metadata, and basic connections info like connection count shows the number of connection initiated between the source and destination. A very high number can be an indicator of C2 beacon activity. The total bytes sent. Display the total amount of bytes sent from source to destination. If this is very high number, it could be an indication of data exfiltration. Port number protocol service. If the port number is non-standard, it warrants further investigation. The lack of SSL in the service info could also be an indicator that warrant further investigation. What is this? Now that we have covered the look and feel of Rita, let's focus on the results displayed by Rita. Most of the time, the results that are displayed warrant some attention. Even if the entry does not have a high severity score, it can be an indicator of compromise. We are using smaller data set and this has some downside. For example, the first seen thread modifier is relatively low due to a small time frame packet being captured. This can affect the severity score. In our case, we can still examine entries that their details make our own analysis. Let's examine the first entry. The first thing we notice is a long, fully qualified domain name, sunshine brisrate inc software dot trycloudflare.com. A quick search on VirusTotal indicates that this URL is flagged as malicious. Wow, that was easy. So go ahead and check the destination IP of the second entry as well. We are lucky to have found known indicators of compromise immediately. However, this is not always the case. Attackers often change their infrastructure and rotate IPs and domain names. Therefore, we should look a bit further when we don't have a hit with known IOCs. Let's analyze the entries a bit more. When we look at the details panel, we can see some more info. Rita includes the rare signature threat modifier. Is it? I could not. Okay, I guess this is the place of it. So when we came here, it gave us the information about the rare signature. Yep, that's there. Okay. This inclusion indicates the combination of a certain parameters, for example, SSL certificate details related to this connection is uncommon compared to the rest of the analyzed HTTPS traffics. Malware or C2 connections often create unique TLS handshake patterns that differ from those of browsers and legitimate clients, making them stand out even though the payload is encrypted. This is not much more we can say about the first entry. So let's have a look at the second entry. The IP is malicious according to VirusTotal. Okay, so let's copy this IP and then check that too. Let's come here. Let's come to the clipboard. Uh, yeah. Now let's search this here. Yep, this is also pointed as malicious one. So last analysis date was just 1 day ago. Okay. This is pointed out by Bitdefender, GData, SciRadar, and others also. Can we browse this? It's actually bad to do it, but I just wanted to try. I guess no. Let's close it. Okay, the connection duration is quite long. Do we see it there? So connection info, it says connection count is 5 and total bytes that was shared is 1.52 MB and protocol and service, it was using 7000, then TCP, then 3232 is another port for TCP and SSL. Okay, so this gives us some information about the connection there. The port mentioned are non-standard ports. Yes, 7000 is not a common port. This information warrants further investigation. You can pivot on the information you have made obtained and dig into Zeek logs and the PCAP file. This is out of the scope for this walkthrough, but feel free to dig into it and then find out the information. Just be cautious. Some of the PCAPs may contain malicious file, domains, and IPs that are still in use. Each will do his part. Now that everyone has gone through the manual, let's hunt those mal rabbits down. We have to put a lot of effort into capturing network traffic. Please analyze the PCAP Rita challenge.pcap with the Rita and answer the questions below. Note, use the learned steps to process the PCAP and analyze it with Rita. How many hosts are communicating with malhare.net? Okay, so before we answer these questions, let's get the PCAP's Rita challenge PCAP file and start analyzing it. So as the first step, we need to be converting the PCAP files to the Zeek files and then import it to the RITA. So for that, let's come here and convert the PCAP to the Zeek files. So the command is Zeek read cap, then the location, then comes the destination. So let's close this here and let's say quit. I press this Q, that is going to quit it. Here, let's type the command Zeek, then read file. What was it? Let's press Control R. Zeek read Zeek read cap. Okay, so read pcap, and then we'll do our own contents here. So we'll remove all these part of the code. Just remove them, and then we'll go with challenge. What is that? What is here? Okay, it's not able to get the location. So uh, here it's going to get it pcap, then challenge something. Oh, we have Rita underscore challenge pcap. So that then comes the destination of it. So let's set the destination to be Zeek logs. Then we will call this as Rita underscore challenge itself. Then pressing enter, that is going to convert the entire file of the pcap to the Zeek logs. Then that file which we have converted from pcap to Zeek, we need to import it to the Rita file, and then we can start using it. So let's see if this has completed, and yes. So let's go one folder back, and in here we can see Rita challenge file to be there. So this command is what we'll have to enter now. So Rita import under hyphen hyphen logs. So let's search for that command. Rita import. Here let's remove these other informations, and then give the folder from where we can get those contents. So let's remove that and then say Rita here. So this is going to be good. I guess this should finish really soon. And yep, that has done it. Okay, that is a good news. Now the command is to say Rita view asyncrat. Okay, so we just need to give the database that name which we have given. So Rita view Rita, and I guess that should open it. Yep. So we get the terminal here. Now that the questions have asked us, we can start answering them. How many hosts are communicating with the malhare.net? We see a lot of hosts here, like which is 13, 15, 14, 12, 11, and then goes 10. So all of them are communicating with the rabbithole.malhare.net. So let's start from the bottom. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's say it is 6. Then click on check. Yes, that's done. Okay, moving to the next question says which threat modifier tells us the number of hosts communicating to a certain destination? And that is prevalence. So let's copy that. And from the clipboard, let's copy that, paste it in there, and click on check. Yes, that's done. What is the highest number of connection to the rabbit hole .malhare.net? What is the highest? Uh, I can see it is 31. So let's try it with 31. I have to check with other logs also. Okay, it's wrong. Fine. Let's see what with about others are here. There's 40 here, which seems to be the highest. 29, 21, 18, 16. So 40 is the highest. So let's enter that as 40. That's done. Which search filter would you use to search for all the entries that communicate with the to rabbit.malhare.net with a beacon score greater than 70 and store by connection duration descending? Okay, that is a lot of parameters to put in. Let's come to the search and go with the help. So first thing that they've asked us is which is the search filter you would use to search for all the entries that communicate to rabbit.malhare.net. So for that we have the option called as source. So src. So src, then the domain there, right? So let's answer it here itself. Src rabbit hole dot malhare dot net. Okay, that's done. Next, with a beacon score greater than 70. So for beacon, we can search for beacon itself. Then the option is greater. So the greater sign is going to come in. Now let's search BAKON, beacon, which is greater than 70. So greater than 70. And I hope that is the right way. It says it's a whole number that we need to enter. Greater than 70 and stored by. Is it greater than or equal to? I feel that is the one which is filling in the space, but not sure. Okay, and sorted by connection duration and descending. For sorting, we have an option here. If you can see it right here, it's a little off shade, but we have an option to sort it by descending order. So let's copy this one, which says sort beacon descending. So let's copy it from the clipboard and then try pasting it directly there. I guess it's duration alone. So let's instead of connection, let's put it as duration and rename this as hopefully, yep, that's the right thing. Okay, that's done. Now, which port did the host this use to connect the rabbit.malhare.net? So it's 13. So let's go back to the 13th IP address, and the port number is port 80. Let's enter that port number there, then click on check. Yes, with that, we have finished the day 22 of Advent of Cyber. Okay, so let's get into the day 23 of Advent of Cyber in the next video. So till then, stay happy, stay smiling. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.